Welcome to The Firehouse, the show dedicated to the brave men and women who serve our community.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to The Firehouse on WRHU 88.7 FM. I am your host, Chris Moses, and today, sitting with me in The Firehouse is my boy, John Ippy, but it's really John Ippolito, right?
That's
but
right.
We say John Ippy. What's going on, man?
What's going on, Chris? Nice to meet you.
I'm good. Nice to meet you, man. So, listen, I read your bio. I know a lot about you. This is going to be a great conversation because you got a lot.
I try.
But let's start. I want you to introduce yourself to the fans. Your name, what company you're in, what department you're in, how long you've been in.
All right. My name is John Ippolito Jr. I've been with the Bay Shore Fire Department as a firefighter for 27 years.
27 years.
1997, but I was a junior firefighter, 1985 to 94.
Okay.
Member of Engine Company Number 1.
Okay.
I'm currently first assistant chief of the Bay Shore Fire Department, and it's my second go-through in the chief's office.
Second go-through. We're going to talk about that craziness.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about that. All right. So how many years you said?
27.
27. I know you got some stories for me.
Yeah, I got a few.
I know you got some, John, and we're going to get to those. But let's start from the beginning. So
right.
You said juniors, right?
Yes.
So that's first thing is that Bay Shore. So it's Bay Shore juniors, right? And
So Bay Shore Fire Department has a junior firefighter program.
okay, so they've had it obviously for a while since you've been there.
I want to say going back to the 30s.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, it was called the juveniles back in the day.
Okay.
And
they probably got rid of that name.
I can tell you,
because
yeah, it was back in the 30s, the juveniles was
it was
the word,
fine.
right?
Yeah, you can't say that now.
But we have, I would say, hundreds of guys that have come up through the program.
okay. Okay.
Yeah, it's a great thing.
That's great.
My son's currently in it.
Oh, look at that. See?
Yep.
So and we're going to talk about that too.
Yeah.
But let's just start. So you started in the juniors. They had the junior program. When do they start in juniors? What age?
We start at 8 years old.
Wow.
Yep.
That's another department that said that. Because I was in Uniondale, I think they don't start till like 14.
So,
But there was 2 departments so far that I've interviewed, and they said they start young, 7, 8 years old, which is great.
yeah,
Get them exposed immediately.
get them in right away. And with us, they're not really doing much firefighting.
Okay.
It's more community service. Like,
Okay.
they march in parades. They do fun food drives
Okay.
and fundraisers in the community. And then, they participate in firematic competition in the summertime. And we have recently started integrating them more into some firefighting stuff, training in-house. We have 2 kids in a basic exterior firefighter course.
Okay.
So they're going to be
They're learning.
way ahead
They're
of
learning.
guys when they're able to ride.
When they decide to join.
Yeah.
All right. So you're in the juniors now. What makes you say you even want to join the juniors? Like, what makes you say fire department? Start
Family.
there.
Starts at family.
All right. So let's talk about it. Who?
My grandfather was a charter member of the North Babylon Fire Company back in
Look at that.
1932.
That's right. So that's funny, and I'm going to sidetrack because I'm looking at your shirt, which we'll put on the screen probably somewhere around like right here. It says Bay Shore, and it says North
Babylon.
Babylon. So
Yeah.
I was wondering why. So you made that.
Yeah, my wife had it made for me.
All right.
It's
So
a
who's
logo.
on it? Let's talk about who's on it. Who's
All
right
right.
on there at the top?
So
Top of the
Bay Shore 433 is
433?
my father. He's
That's
a member
you?
of the
All
truck
right.
company. in
Okay.
Bay Shore.
Let's go to the right. Who we got?
I got 225.
225.
225 times 2.
225.
Ah,
I didn't notice
you see that little
the
times 2 right there.
Okay.
So the first 225 was my brother Santos Sal.
Okay.
He was in Engine Company 1. He is a benevolent member.
Okay.
He moved on for career purposes. He's still local.
Okay.
And then my brother Michael came into the company and took my brother Sal's
took the
spot.
number.
Yeah,
All
who's
right,
still
look at that.
Michael's an ex-captain.
Close to
Engine
mine.
1.
I'm 205, but they're
Yeah,
225.
I like the
All right,
twos.
so let's go to this one. 216.
216 is right here. That's
This
me.
it? That's you.
That's my
okay.
number.
And then
215 is my brother Anthony.
And that's your brother.
He's my brother
Anthony.
Michael's twin brother.
I love that.
Also
that.
an ex-captain.
That's a nice patch. I like
Yeah.
that, man. It's just
You know,
like
tradition.
It's like the
And
legacy.
you got the eye
that's
in the
right
middle.
there.
See the little eye right
I see
there?
the eye right in the middle.
Ippolito.
That's what the eye is for.
That's right.
Makes sense. Ippy. All right, so it was almost like you were born for this. Like you are born
It's in the blood.
This.
It's in the blood.
in the blood. Like
I'm sure everybody
was
says
doing
that, and that's
Yeah.
great. That's
but
great
you
to have.
actually is in your one. Like even though yes, everybody, we want to do this, we're born, but you actually, this is in everybody before you did this, and everyone after you is still doing this, and you're still doing this.
Love it.
So you join, you finally say, all right, I'm in, juniors are off, you join, and then you join, as a probie, right? In basic.
So actually, I had a gap.
There we go.
My parents pushed me to go away to school.
Okay.
And
where'd you go?
So I went to SUNY Cobleskill,
Okay.
in upstate New York, for culinary arts. Became want to be a chef.
All right, and we're going to talk about that too, because a chef in the Firehouse is huge.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
So went away for 2 years.
Okay.
Came back home, 97, right? Summer of 97. Got out of college, put my application right in the Firehouse.
Okay.
Right? Did 2 years in Cobleskill, came home, threw my app in. And back then you had to wait there were no openings. I wanted to go to the truck company. I wanted to be with my dad.
Okay.
Truck company called and says, hey, listen, we have one spot. We're taking another guy in. A guy came up with, Ed. His dad was also in the truck company. They're like, one spot, 2 guys. They chose Eddie.
Okay.
And then they're like, hey, wait 6 months. I'm like, I got to really wait 6 months?
Yeah, like I don't want to, especially being a junior.
Chomping,
you
right?
already know.
2 years I waited. I went to school, came home. I wanted to join the Firehouse.
Like, let's go.
And then it was like, the floodgates open. Guys coming to my house. Hey, join this company. Join Connecticut Hose. Join the engine company. Join this. Wait 6 months for the truck company. I'm like, you know what? June, me and my buddy Kevin are at the substation with the junior program, hanging out with the kids.
Okay.
His brother comes down and says, hey, come to the company meeting. And they did our interview right in front of the whole company.
In front of everybody.
Me and Kevin walked in, room of 25 guys, 30 guys. Hey, you guys going to go to fires? You guys going to race? You guys going to be in the marching band? Take them in.
Let's
that's
go.
How June of 1997. That's where it officially started as a Class A firefighter.
So I would say that you was gonna go to truck because that's what Dad is, right? But then ended up engine, no transfer.
I had the work shirt made, everything already. I had the truck company logo, my name. It's still in my closet. Never worn it.
Already.
Yeah,
You should wear it to a company
I was a truck
meeting
guy,
one day.
and I wanted to be with my father, and you know what? It didn't work out. My dad's still in the truck, but he's an honorary member of Engine 1.
Okay, look at that.
Me and my brothers.
Okay.
Does a lot of cooking with me in the kitchen.
Okay.
So
it ended up working out. It ended up working out. All right, so now you're here. One thing that we always see, some people decide to just stay as firefighters. They don't go any far. You decide to take the leap to go into now leadership, right?
Yes.
So, of course, you go into captain and you go into lieutenant. What makes you say you want to take those steps right there?
So when I got in the company, there was a huge age gap. You had guys with 30 plus, and then you had like one guy that was 15, and everybody else was 5 and less.
Wow. Okay.
So I got into a company. The joke when I got into my company was your company has thermostats on your pager, right? Your page when it went below a certain temperature, engine 1 didn't show up, right? And they took in this huge, like my buddy Brian, he got in right before me. His brother Kevin came in with me. Okay. Then my brother came in behind. We started bringing in all the art.
Yeah, the younger guys.
Us, right? Guys who came up through the juniors, the legacy guys. Like, hey, let's go. Let's join together. And then we needed a younger leader, right? So Brian became a lieutenant. Then Kevin became a lieutenant, and then I was behind Kevin.
It was your time.
And we just and then I always say, and I've always said it, I think when somebody becomes like in my company my department, we have 2 lieutenants in each company and a captain. So it's 2 years in each spot. So it's a 6-year commitment.
Yeah.
Right. So you become a second lieutenant, right? You're going to move to first in 2 years.
So wait,
and then
back up. You said 6-year commitment.
6 years on a.
So it's 2 years for each.
Yes.
Wow.
And then when you go to the chief's office, it's the same thing. 2 years. Same thing. 3 chiefs, another 6 years.
Wow.
So when I went through, first I always say, when you run for second lieutenant, I always think if you want to be a boss, your end goal is the top spot.
That's right. Of course.
Not everybody, I think some people maybe they don't admit that to themselves, or they say, hey, I'm just happy being a company guy. I don't want to go on the next level because it's a lot.
It is.
But I always think in the back of your head, it's there. I want to be the chief.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
So again, I've always wanted this, right? I always wanted to be a firefighter, but I knew my spot. I knew my place. I wanted to learn it. I wanted to be a good firefighter
and work
and
that
then
way up.
Become a good officer. Learn to be a good officer. So I did my time as second lieutenant. I had some great guys ahead of me, some great senior guys in the back of the room that led us down the road. One gentleman, his name was Roland Manella. He was a first 2-time ex-chief in Bayshore Fire Department history.
Wow. Okay.
He's an Engine 1. And I remember I was that young kid in the back of the room, always like got the hand up, wanted to make a name for myself.
That's right.
And I remember he grabbed me one day, pulled me in the back of the shirt and said, sit down, keep your mouth shut.
And listen.
And you know what? You don't always have to say something.
That's right.
And you know what? You'll get where you want to be.
That's
and
right.
he was 100% right. You know, I got to the pinnacle. You know, I was lucky enough to be elected chief of department. But I always believe if you're going to be a second lieutenant or lieutenant, if you just have one, the end goal is always to be the chief.
To be the chief.
And
so you finally get in there, and now you're as chief. You decide to do it again.
Well,
before we even get to that, the dynamic of running a company versus running the department, how is that? If you can run us through, how does that?
So I know every shop is different, right? Some places they run as a department period.
Yeah.
Companies are just like a social thing.
Mm-hmm.
In Bayshore, a company is its own. You know, we don't have our own firehouse. Headquarters is a shared building.
Okay.
And then the substations are, my company has an engine in Station 2.
Okay.
The host company has an engine in Station 1. But headquarters, all 5 companies have one apparatus.
So, all right. So one building for everyone versus like a union there where we have 4 or 5 different buildings. My engine is a building. My engine is their truck. You have one building with just your one, when y'all share the apparatus, but
we have
station.
3 buildings, but none of them belong to the companies. They're all department.
Okay.
Headquarters, we have a big rec room.
Okay.
Right. And we share it.
Okay.
And not to get off the top, but the reason behind that was that the back in the day, they thought camaraderie stayed better when we're all in the same room
together,
and not separated.
in different buildings.
But we have 5 companies. So being a boss of Engine 1, we have 25 active slots.
Okay.
And then we have, our life members that after they do 20 years, they can request to go life membership. And they're still a part of the company, but they're not part of the 25 active.
There you go.
So as a captain or lieutenant, you're just handling those 25 and you're dealing with the other bosses and the other companies, which there'll be, 12 other bosses.
Yeah.
It's not too bad.
Okay.
And if, again, busy company, you're an active boss.
You're
around more. You're a bigger target. You know what I mean?
Of course.
That's how
That's it.
Then when you move to department, I always find the hardest thing to do is to separate yourself from the company. Because when you're a lieutenant in the company or the captain, I'm here for my company, right or wrong.
I'm there.
I'm my company guy. But when you get to the chief's office,
you got to look at everything.
You're the chief of 5 companies.
That's right.
And you got to be for everybody. And I truly believe that what's good for one is good for the other.
That's right.
And you got to treat everybody fair across the board.
Yeah.
I'm all for my company. I love Engine 1.
Yeah, of course.
And they always done the right for me. A good company is going to be there when you're in the chief's office. Chief, what do you need?
That's right.
And
you don't always get that, but
no, you don't. But you know what?
for the most part,
a good company is going to
always
back
have your back, right? I was always taught when you were a chief, your company is usually the hardest one.
they
in the beginning.
You know what? I never had that problem, and none of the companies. Everybody by us, you're always going to have that volley. I call it volley ticks. I'm sure you heard that before.
Yep, we heard it.
As the blue light turns, it's like a soap opera sometimes.
I like that. As the blue light
you never heard
turns.
That one?
I never heard that one.
I've been using that one for years.
As the blue light turns.
Yeah.
It's a good soap opera. We might have to start that. I should have named this show.
That's to be named the show, right?
To rename the show to that. I like that. As the blue light turns.
It's like sometimes.
Well, if I do
drama.
decide to rename it, we got to make sure that John and his whole family get the credit for that. As the blue light turns. I like that. But go ahead.
No, it's just like I said. It's that dynamic, and if I find I can still be loyal to my company, but I got to look out for everyone.
Yeah,
and as long as you're upstairs and you're doing the right thing for the members, I had an ex-chief who was a good friend of the family, Pete DiGilio, said he was take care of the men and women; they'll take care of you.
That's right.
But also take care of yourself.
Yeah, because
and you know what? He was probably some of the best advice I've gotten in the chief's office. And he's still a guy I'll reach out to. He's a since retired life member.
Yeah,
he lives in the city part time out east. See, I'm actually playing golf with him next Monday.
Wow.
And,
okay, look at that. Yeah.
Those are the guys you want.
Yep. Those are those lifelong friends that you end up
pick
getting.
their brains. Yep. And I tell guys all the time, young officers, especially nowadays, I find they're becoming too young, in my opinion. These 3-year guys that don't have the life experience that I have or you have had growing up. Going back to going away to school, that made me grow up so much that I think it made me a better person.
Yep.
And
better officer.
my career
Yep.
made me look at things differently and I truly believe all that made me a better officer in the company. And then as a chief the first time, and my experiences the first time, I have leaned on huge the second time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I've done some things differently.
But you've learned that you've had that experience to do that. Yeah.
I think people have seen it and appreciated it.
Mm-hmm.
And I could tell you I feel better this time than I did
the first time. Look at that.
Which is an odd thing to say, be honest. You would have thought the first time was
you were like, oh, it is, but this one you feel better.
I think I'm doing it better. I hope I'm doing it better.
I think that's just the way it goes. You've learned, so now you have to bring that.
Learn from your experiences.
I got to bring it into, because there's a lot that we haven't even talked about that you've done. We're talking 1995 fire photography. Let's talk about that.
So my grandfather, when he left North Babylon, moved to Bayshore in the 50s after World War II, never left North Babylon. He was loyal to the bone. He lived to 92 years old, was the last living charter member of North Babylon.
Wow, look at that. Look at that.
And he was big, he lived in Bayshore, and he was big into the 55 millimeter film. I'll go down, he had pictures he would go to fires with his 38 millimeter camera and take the photos.
And that's why I said 1995, if you're doing this, digital and all of that,
Yeah, I was still on roll film, going to Target and before Target, whatever it was, Woolworths, processing film and make sure it didn't get exposed.
Walgreens and all of
that. My grandfather would take all photo, and he wasn't in Bayshore, but he was out there taking pictures for Bayshore.
Wow.
And then I'm like, you know what? I wasn't in the fire department yet. Let me go. I remember the first fire I ever went to. I was driving to my summer job at the Fire Island Ferries, going to pick up my paycheck. And I'm coming home, and I see smoke all over Main Street. And we had a business, South Shore, Hospice of the South Shore. And this was a cranking commercial job.
Okay.
And I remember pulling over. Camera just happened to be in my car. And that was the first, fire buff job that I just started snapping photos. And I got hooked. Even as a firefighter, I love, I truly, and the video and even as time progressed, I'm all about still photography.
Still, even with video, you still
like to get photo could tell
captures
a story
everything.
that just of a regular video can't. Still photos where
because it also gets your imagination going.
Yeah, old school photos.
That's right. So all right, let's keep going here because I'm telling you, there's a lot. Listeners, y'all need to know there's a lot. We did that. Then we want to talk about we got to get into the drill. Drill team and band.
Firematics, huh?
Listen, we got to get into the drill team and band. So walk us through that. You are juniors. Then you decide to go into lieutenant and captain and then chief. Where does the drill team come in? Where did that start?
So my father, when he joined the fire department in December of 71, went right, truck company, Bayshore drill team.
Okay.
And I watched my father race as a kid. From I was born in 77, so my earliest memories, late 70s,
was watching him.
The Bayshore drill team they were the team. They were like the saying was always the bridesmaid, never the bride. They were always number 2, number 3, never number 1, but they were competitive. And I go back, I got photos of me as a kid at the campsite, at the track, at the tournaments, going to practice with my dad. That's all I wanted to do.
So when you started, you were going right into this.
I was down there as a kid sitting in my dad's Maverick, old blue Maverick at the end of the track. And the driver was an ex-chief. He's an ex-chief now, Harry Penny, famous longtime racing guy throughout New York State. And I said, when I grow, all I want to do is race with Harry Penny.
Did you get to do it?
And I got to race with Harry Penny.
I like to hear that.
I got in 97. Harry retired in 2000.
So you got a nice solid 3 years with him.
Yeah. And I got to say I got to race
with Harry,
to race
with him.
And that was a big thing for me. And I didn't get to race with my dad, but my father came back, and he's our team cook. And every weekend he's out there flipping burgers, serving some good barbecue at racing tournaments for us.
I see where you get it from, because we're going to get into that, but what you went to school for. So we got the drill team. If you could just quickly walk me through, first of all, how do you even join the drill team? Let's say if your department has one, do you need experience? Do you need how do you get into that?
So experience is great, right? Coming out of the junior program, you have a little of that experience.
Yeah.
But it's different. It's you're on the bigger stage.
Yeah.
anybody, we promote it all the time. Like we have a drill team meeting tonight. We're gonna go there.
Shout out to the drill team guys tonight.
tonight 8:00 at Bayshore. We're all year round, right? It's a year round business. We have meetings in the winter. We race in the summer. But anybody come on down, be a part of it. And I always say it's one of the few things we do it's just outside of going to fires, right? Fires is number one. We wouldn't have a drill team if it wasn't for fire.
Of course, yep.
Right?
Yep.
But the drill team is it's the fun part of it. It's the training part of it.
Yeah.
We're doing basic firefighting 101 just a lot faster.
Just a lot faster.
Right? And you get these young kids, they see it, and they get hesitant, right? We say, hey, come on down. We start in the spring. Come on down. Come see what it's all about. You run up a wooden ladder. You got the hose and the hydrant. You got the metal ladder. And then you put them on the truck for their first ride, and you see it in their face. They're just they're hooked. Like you're like,
when that thing takes off.
Yeah, and you're like, wow, I want to keep doing this. I didn't do much jumping off the truck because when I got in, my career was starting. Okay. And obviously, volunteer fireman doesn't pay the bills.
Yes. So
I needed to make sure that my career was. And I'm okay with that. I did other things for the team. The old school bucket line. You go back to the 1800s where they rang the bell and somebody's house on fire. We run buckets today. You get 12 guys on a ladder running into a bucket tub, filling a canvas bucket and passing it up and filling a barrel. That's what they did back in the day. And we still do that today.
You still do that.
That's how you close out a tournament.
Is it?
Running buckets, last event.
See, it's the last
and
event.
And a lot of times that last event dictates who wins.
Right?
State champ right there. I got my ring.
Here we go. Show the ring. Show the ring.
Right.
Show him right there. Show him the ring,
2018.
baby. All right. So we got that. We then you said your career. Of course, I assume the volunteer service, just being in that dictates where you end up in your career, right? End up what you're doing.
Yeah. I always wanted to be a police officer.
Okay.
And I was lucky enough to achieve that. 2000, joined the New York City Police Department.
Okay.
I did 22 years. Wow.
Started
in East New York.
Okay.
And moved over to the borough. I worked in Brooklyn North, the whole borough. And then my last 9 years, I worked out of the emergency service unit where they run their own ambulance.
ESU.
Yep. I was the ESU EMS, their ambulance unit.
Look at that. So I'm positive that the volunteer service definitely helped with you with that. You were probably already EMS.
So I had my EMT outside the firehouse.
Yeah.
But I worked, I did some work prior to NYPD at Deer Park Fire District, the first paid EMS program in Suffolk County.
Okay.
Like a fire department that hadn't paid ambulance.
Had it. Yep.
That was the late 90s. That was in Deer Park.
Which is now a common thing everywhere.
Everywhere has it.
Yeah.
And then I had I kept my license, my certification. Mm-hmm. And lucky enough, I was able to get a spot in the ESU ambulance. And it's funny, everybody there was a volley. Everybody I worked with. I had worked my squad. I had the senior guy, Commissioner Belmore, fire.
Okay.
One of my partners, chief, then ex-chief, now Commissioner Greenlawn. Mm-hmm. We have guys from West Islip, guys from Islip, guys from upstate New York. Okay. So Nassau County, the East Rockaway. We worked. It was great. Like you're going to work. And we worked out of an old firehouse in Long Island City. And we had the, police vehicles.
Was it even really work at this moment?
Kitchen. We had the kitchen upstairs. You know what I was doing for the boys.
And we got to now talk about that because you went to school for this.
Yeah.
So this is huge for our listeners. If you have a cook in quarters, this is amazing. So I know everyone is loving that. Now, you're, like you said, Bayshore is one firehouse.
Yeah.
Who you cooking for? You cooking for just your company
or
you cooking for everybody?
Right now.
All right, talk. Because we got 5 companies here.
Cooking for me started at the firehouse
at
7 years old.
Wow.
So one of the senior guys owned a catering company. And we cooked all our dinners in the firehouse. We had a lot of guys went out to hotels or catering halls for annual dinners. We did it all in the Bayshore Firehouse in our big upstairs ballroom. So parents would bring their kids to the dinner, right? And I was washing dishes.
At 7 years
old. Instead of a babysitter. And I wasn't the only one. There was a whole group of us, right?
So now y'all are also having fun doing that.
My boy Jerry, Eddie, which he'll come into another part of this conversation down the road. We all grew up together, right? We were all in the kitchen. Artie, Jerry, Eddie, me, washing dishes. And as years went on, all right, I became the guy in the kitchen preparing plates. Then I'm the guy outside slicing at the table.
Yep.
And then I went to high school. We all went to high school together. Mm-hmm. Went to BOCES together for cooking. went to college together.
We
all went to Cobleskill for culinary arts. And then we came home. We all joined the fire department. So when I tell you, you can ask around Bayshore, when you say Bayshore, and when you go to a meeting, I like when you go to meetings, right, for councils or whatever, you go people are like, oh, where is it tonight? Oh, it's in Bayshore. Yo, you're
talking about chief counsel.
Yo, you're getting a good feed. Don't eat lunch because you're gonna get. And you know what? I actually think that's a thing to be proud of.
Yeah.
Whether it's at the tournaments on Saturday or Sunday, the grill team's gonna be out. You got the drill team and the grill team, and we're grill team champs. But our guys put a lot of pride into what we serve.
Okay.
Our friends.
We need
and
to
ourselves.
do that. Maybe we need to do that for the fire department. Do a grill competition.
You got those chili cook-offs. You do these.
We do one of those for like all
the
it's departments.
Funny. We tried. I'll give him a shout out. Chris Murphy from Central ISIP, right? He runs the media committee for New York State drill teams.
Okay.
Right. I don't know if you ever checked it out. Their YouTube channel.
Yes, I have.
He runs. That's his baby. Done a great job. Right. They hosted the state parade this past year in Central ISIP. And on Sunday, he was trying to get him and he spoke to me and said, "What do you think about this idea?" It's a hard one to pull off.
It is.
But he was like, he wanted to do like a battle of the grills.
That's what I said, like a battle of the grills.
That could be epic, right?
What?
That would be a great fundraiser thing,
that would be great.
For a cause.
Yeah, people come out, they eat. That would be
food
great.
Food trucks have nothing on volunteer firefighters cooking. That's all I'm saying. But I cook in the firehouse all the time. Me in my company, it's me and this guy Joel.
Okay.
We actually just did our last department meeting a month ago. We flipped the script a little and did breakfast for dinner. Let me tell you something.
Who doesn't love breakfast for dinner?
Right? You'd be surprised.
Doesn't?
You'd be surprised. There was that one guy.
Of course,
right?
there's always one.
There's always
one.
But when you got these old guys, you got to remember in the firehouse, and just like I told Joel, he's a lieutenant in my company. You got to look out for everybody, right? I said before. So you got to think, you got these old guys coming in, they're expecting, we don't put out a menu and say, hey, we're having this on Wednesday night. They're coming in thinking, oh, we're going to have, roast beef or turkey or, chicken. We went to Modern Bakery, ordered 100 rolls.
Okay.
We did egg sandwich. We had we had all the toppings.
Everything.
And you ordered scrambled egg, fried egg.
Whatever you want. We got
down French toast, pancakes. We lit it up.
I'm going to have to stop by.
You walked out. I pulled up to the firehouse at 6:00, right? 2 hours before the meeting. It just smelled like bacon. I wanted to put on an electric sign. That's us.
That's us.
I mean, it was the greatest smell in the world. But I will say the next part of the story, I go upstairs and my company's in the kitchen. And I can tell you, I've never been so proud of a group of guys. I walked in, I peeked in before I went down to the chief's office, and our senior guy, who's still going to fires today, Doug Bungie, ex-chief, he's in there
cooking
at the table, chopping
it up.
Or my idol, this man, Doug Rogers, I call him my idol. Known him my entire life. Mm-hmm. His dad used to cook burgers for me when I was a kid, and he was the chef of the Redskins drill team. He's in there. Everybody from the newest guy in my company to the senior man was contributing, and let me tell you, I didn't even say hello.
That's a great. I hope you took a picture of that. Quick video.
You know what? I should have, but I was so proud with my company and just where it's come, where it has become.
Yeah.
That I just turned around and walked out. I didn't even say hello because I felt like I was interrupting.
Yeah.
Them.
Like they're working.
One of the proudest moments of my entire career in the fire department was seeing that.
To see the young guys with the old guys, and everybody's just what it's all helping out, right? Because it's all about that one cause. It's all about us. That's what right. That's what this show is about. It's all about us. I love that. All right, so I know we went through a lot, but what we didn't get through is some stories, John. Yeah. I need some good stories. So talk to me. Give me one right now. Good story from any side.
You know what? The stress, man. I've been thinking about it. I'm like, what?
What story do I want to say?
I hate. Well, I hate using the word hate, right?
Yeah, no.
I was involved in an incident back in 2007.
Okay.
Me and I said it before, Eddie, and I really don't like talking about it much, but we'll talk about it.
I mean, we don't have to. If
it worked out. It was a positive outcome.
Okay, so good. Okay.
So we wound up. Eddie and I were both New York State Firefighters of the Year. We were awarded it in 2008 for actions in 2007.
Congratulations.
And you know what? It all came down to our training, right? What we were taught. And we get a fire. I remember it was fall. It was about this time in 2007. It was a weekend, and we get a house fire over in the north end of town in the Brightwaters Farms area. And PD gets, you know how cops get there. They got to, and I'm a retired cop, right?
You're a retired
They got to put all the cars right on top of the fire scene. They all beat us in. Good guys, but, you know. They get there. I'm on, I think, the second or third due engine.
Okay.
And they give us like the all clear. Hey, you're not needed. Fire's out. No fire, whatever. One of the younger officers at the time, Gerard, went in to do a quick walkthrough, which is key to this whole story.
Okay.
All right, we're out. We take up. We go home. Go back to quarters. 2 hours later. Now I'm working at the time 5 at night to 2 in the morning in the city. I want to say it was like 3 o'clock. Structure fire, same location, right?
Kindle.
And I'm like, that's odd, right?
Yeah.
So I lived on the East End, Station 2. Go over to Station 2. At the time I think we were engineing a ladder there. Now we're a single engine. We gear up, get on the engine. We're going in. It's work, right? We know it's work.
Yeah.
Pull up. Gerard's on the radio, and because he did the walkthrough earlier, he said, "Hey, the bedroom is in the 1-4 corner, right?" So we're like, "All right." We pull up. This thing's cranking. I'm on the third due engine now. Gerard's on the fourth due. Eddie was also there with me, but he came on an engine at headquarters. We get up, fire's rocking out the front door, top to bottom, right? Ladies in the front yard yelling, "My boyfriend's in the house."
Wow.
So we knew we had an occupant in.
Yeah.
But the only survivable room was that 1-4 corner. So like, all right, my brother Mike's with me. He's on the engine. I said, "Mike, grab a pole. We're going to try to make the push, me and Eddie. And we're going to call you for the vent, coordinate it, just like we were taught, right?"
That's right.
Now, this is, again, 08. You know, we were heavily being taught about firefighter survival. That was a big thing, right? Fast teams, rapid intervention.
That's right.
Every training we went to was
that
how to get us out of a fire.
That's right.
So we climb over a bunch of guys on the front steps, right? Because, you know, everybody wants to be a gangster until it's time to be a gangster.
That's right.
Right? You've heard that one before, right?
Say that one more time and look right
Everybody wants to be a gangster till it's time to be a gangster. I got that sticker on my desk. So me and Eddie go, "We're doing this, right? We're going.
Let's go.
Make it maybe 3 feet down the hallway. There's no way we're making this. Fire is rocking. It's right. It's deep in the house." So I look at the wall. Put a little push on it. It's soft. I just breached the wall.
Wow.
I'm a big boy, right?
Yeah,
I was bigger then. It was like Kool-Aid coming through there, right?
You boom straight through.
We breached the wall, right? We took a technique. We were taught to get out to get in. Now, it wasn't the plan. We just, our training kicked in.
Yeah.
Right? We got to get this guy. Pop through the wall. I do a left lead. Eddie does a right lead. We meet at the door. Now, thank God, if we would have made the hallway, he was behind the door.
Okay.
Right? That's where they usually are, right?
Yep.
So even if we would have got down there, we wouldn't have got
You wouldn't have, yep.
Get him at the door, right? Everything's falling. The bed's upside down. The bureau's falling. Mirrors on top. I'm like, "Oh, we got a guy.
We have someone here."
We grab him, take him back out the breach we came in, front yard. And now I've always said, right, CPR, right, theory of relativity. I'm not putting my lips on your lips unless we're relatives. You know what I'm saying? I'll give you a bag or something. But we're a fire department with no ambulance. So a lot of the old school mentality back in the day was, we don't do EMS. Like, why do we need the equipment on the fire truck? So I went wiped off the lips, and little rescue breathing, and luckily this gentleman survived this fire.
I love to hear that, man. And I love to hear that.
Eddie and I team, and not just Eddie and I, it was everybody. The team, from the guys outside venting, the guys who pushed the hose line while we went in the room. We were honored with Firefighter of the Year in New York State in 2008. And let me tell you something. It was, you don't do any of this for the accolades of the room. It was actually more of a headache because I had to take off of work. I literally went, after that fire, I went home, showered up, got my car, and went to work. Like,
I just made a grab, literally save someone's life.
I got to go to work.
I got to go to work.
Serve and protect New York City.
And just to say that, I just want to say for our listeners, and this is a real big part of this show, is that as they're, these hometown heroes, and I'm going to say it, are doing their job, they got to go right and go do their job right after that. You just went in there, flames over your head, you're doing this, you make a grab, then shower up and go right to work.
Yeah, well, I'm going to call my boy, "Hey, boss, I can't come in today."
I got to go to work.
Yeah, and luckily a lot of guys on my job in the city, they're volleys.
So they understand.
They're doing the same
Yeah.
thing I'm doing, but and they understand that, it's rare. Every now and then you do. Listen, I've had bosses that are like, your volunteer thing, blah, blah. It
It
drive,
happens.
you take your cheese car to work. Oh, what's that thing? Blah, blah. Listen, but you know what? If I was driving, no matter where I am, Nassau, Suffolk,
Yeah.
Queens, I stop. I see somebody and help, even in my personal car.
Yeah.
Because that's what we do.
That's it.
That's what we got
It's in you.
And everything we train for these moments.
That's right.
You don't train just to sit around the firehouse.
Yeah.
You train to go help the community, the visitors in your community, the
That's right.
neighbors,
That's
your
right.
brother firefighters in neighboring towns and sisters. That's what
I love it.
listen.
I love it.
Even EMS, we're starting to see an increase of us going to assist EMS, whether it's a lift assist or because they
Whatever it
know
is.
we're going to turn out
We're going to be there. Yep.
for them. And
That's
then
right.
it's, it's just the way it is. We
love
teach a
that.
little more first aid, CPR, stop the bleed now,
Mm-hmm.
and guys are like resistant to it, but just the world we live in.
Yeah. And
Gotta
it helps to know.
evolve.
It helps to know these
Yeah.
things. All right. So I got a question for you
Yes, sir.
really quick. A common myth you want to debunk about firefighting,
Oof, about firefighting.
if you could think of one. Common myth that you would want to debunk. Yeah, it could be about
You know what?
firefighting or about just being,
It's-
a firefighter in all.
It's not, well, we're talking about volunteer firefighting.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Right?
yeah. We could do that.
It's not just, you don't just go when the pager goes off,
Okay.
right? It's is a lot more involved. Like we were talking earlier,
That's right.
the only thing volunteer is you joining.
That's it.
After that, it's a volunteer. You're a volunteer professional, right?
I
so,
like that.
so
Yeah.
you know what? Pager going off, you get up and go to the call, but you got to get them go sometimes to the firehouse when the page is not going off.
That's right. Meetings,
And-
department meeting, company meetings, trainings,
And whether it's
committees.
and I truly feel that and I tell every new guy this that comes past my desk, the best member. Listen, everybody's here for a reason. Everybody has a purpose, right? Everybody has a reason to be in the firehouse. The best guys that do a little of everything. That's my
Yes.
opinion,
That's right.
right? I just saw another podcast, and the guy was, and it's been bothering me for days. He did like the thirds, right? Top third, middle third, bottom third, and the bottom third are the losers.
Okay.
I don't like. It really bothered me that somebody would say that because everybody has a purpose.
That's right.
You know what? And you know what? Don't, like I said before, everybody gets treated the same. Whether you're a bottom third guy
That's right.
or a
That's
top
right.
tier guy,
That's right.
you have. And listen. I got no problem with. I think communication's a big part. When you see those guys that aren't doing it, go up to them and say, "Hey, what's going
What's
on?
going on?
What can I do to make it better for you?"
To
And
come
I'm not
out.
trying to appease them, but I want to understand as a boss and help make it better.
Make the guys that I have here. Like if I can figure out
Yeah.
to keep you here, I want to keep you here.
Yeah.
It's not just get rid of them. Let's figure out what the problem is. Now, sometimes you got to get rid of them, but
Listen, I truly believe guys that I never want to get rid of. I never want to terminate somebody, right?
Yeah.
As a boss. I believe guys will work themselves out.
Yeah.
They're going to figure it out. They're going to say, "Hey, this isn't working."
and I got to
Or
go.
or you have the conversation and say, "Hey, listen, it's not working for you. It's not working for us. Maybe next time. Maybe when
Yeah.
your life changes or just the
Things are
situation
different.
changes."
Yeah.
Now, another thing I find with guys that leave other departments, right? I think we're starting to see a lot of that happening where guys leave one department and go to another.
Go to another.
And then you're
Yeah.
like, "Hey, so and so is in your department. Don't that guy's this, that guy's that." But you know what? Then he's here and he's total
Total
180
different
of what you
person.
just told me.
Yep.
Because maybe a change of scenery is what a guy needs. And
That's right.
going back to us being about us, right? I just never understood why guys bash other
guys. Like, why would you do that?
Like we should be lifting each other up,
Other
like
up.
giving everybody the best opportunity. Again,
right.
being a good boss is putting guys in the spot that have the best opportunity to succeed.
That's right. See?
And we bailout training, right? That's a big thing now. And we sent 7 guys to become instructors, right? We had
Yep.
a company come in,
Mhm.
we trained the
That's right.
trainer. So now I'm
That's right.
one of the trainers.
Yep.
We had a guy last year. He hasn't come through yet this year. We're doing our requals. And 20-year guy, he's always on the rig, but he's a great fireground support guy,
Okay.
right? That's the best way to put it. He's not making the push, but he'll tell you that.
Yeah.
And I appreciate
Okay. Yeah.
I appreciate
That guy that
right?
does that. Yeah.
But you tell him, "Hey, I need this, I need that." He's going to get it. And
Okay.
you'll have it on the fire. Like he's standing by ready to go for you
And
outside.
help out. Yeah.
But you have to be a Class A. You have to have
Mhm.
the bailout certification.
Yes.
And he says, "You know what, Chief? he did one jump and he's like, you got to do 4. He's like, yeah, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm like, bro, you're going to lose your Class A.
If you don't.
And I need you to be a Class A as a daytime guy.
Yes.
Me and another instructor spoke with him. He told us his reservations. We said, we're going to get you through this.
But he did.
Trust us.
Okay.
Trust us. We're going to get you through this. Me and this other instructor, Kyle, we're going to work with you. We're going to get you through this. And you know what? He's still a Class A fireman today.
Look at that.
Because that's what it's all about. Not putting each other down. You see, I'm sure you've seen it in firehouses where guys are like, hey, this guy, or the naysayers, like this place is a mess. This place is a S show. Those are the guys that bring the fire because it's contagious. Right?
That's right.
That mentality.
It's called the negativity virus.
And I try to be the opposite.
Yeah.
Listen, everybody has a bad day.
Of course.
And this, the silly season, right? Elections coming up, the silly season,
time.
right? Everybody's like, who's running and whom I vote.
Who's doing this? Yep.
Hey, it's part of life, but try to be positive, and I think the positivity keeps the guys coming around. The food keeps them coming around.
That's right. And you,
the events, like do things to make the guys want to be
here.
And who does it benefit? Not only us as an organization, the community, because the guys are in quarters.
They're here. And
the bell rings and you're out.
Response time is cut down when we're sitting right there. I want to talk about that bailout really quick, because you said you're a bailout instructor.
Yes,
if you
sir.
can explain what that is to the listeners. Now, I know because not now, but before when we first brought it over to Uniondale, I was one of the instructors, right?
Yep.
We outfitted one of our old ambulances, put it all up, made it into where we could bail out there. But for our listeners that don't know what bailout is, explain what that is.
So years ago, New York City had a tragic day, Black Sunday, where they had multiple firefighters have to, evacuate a fire building in the Bronx, I believe it was.
Yep.
It appeared to be, and I should know this, right? And from the front of the building, it looked like a 3-story building, but in the back of the building, it was a 4-story building, right? The basement is in the back lower,
but it was lower
than street level.
Yep.
These firefighters had a bailout. Well, they didn't have bailout systems. 2 jumped, and one firefighter from, I think his name was Jeff Cool, get me correct, and then Joey DiBernardo, who they have a big seminar for every year out in Suffolk County Fire Academy. They used Cool's rescue rope that he personally bought and removed themselves from the fire floor. And since then, the FDNY brought out this bailout system, right?
Yeah.
So it's a harness that you wear either internally in your gear or out exterior of your pants.
Yep.
And then a 50-foot rope with a descender system.
Yep.
All right. So now we have to teach firefighters, right? Survival, how to bail out of a fire floor and go out a window and hang and descend out. Now, for a lot of people, it's a scary thing because hopefully you're never going to use it. Now, we tell in our lecture, right? It hasn't been deployed. And then last night after class, our chief of department, Roy Eklund, he was telling me there was just a deployment upstate, I think in Hamburg, where two chiefs deployed the PSS, personal escape system.
Okay.
Yeah. So PES in Hamburg. So I haven't read that story yet, and I'm sure there's going to be some case study.
Something.
But we all now are required by New York State Department of Labor to have this system on our gear if you're a Class A firefighter. And it's an expensive thing, but we do it in-house. We find it's better for our guys to teach our guys, but we're all it's not just like, hey, off the street, you're going to teach this.
Yeah, no, you got to get certified.
Had to put the time
you got to learn and know it.
To be certified instructors.
Yeah.
And, it's a lot.
All right. So I got a quick, before we didn't even get into the game because I told you it was so much. Yeah. So we're going to get into the game really quick. We got to play the Flashover, right? Now, the Flashover basically is, I'm just going to ask you Android or Apple, right? And you got to give it to me really fast what it is.
All right.
Right? Which one you want. So, but we're going to do TV shows. Now, if you don't know them, you don't know them. But we're going to say them anyway, all right?
Probably seen a clip or two.
You've seen a clip or two, so you can pick which ones, all right? All right. So, are you ready, John, for the Flashover?
Let's go.
All right. So, we got Chicago Fire Rescue Me.
Ooh, I'll go Rescue Me.
Rescue Me? Rescue Me Third Watch.
Third Watch.
Yeah. Backdraft Ladder 49.
I'll go Backdraft.
Backdraft. All right. And the most important question, which I know what you're going to say, but Dad was truck. So let's see where you are. Engine or truck?
Engine.
Engine, no way.
Yeah, no.
We're going with engine.
I want to be inside and put that fire out.
That's that. Listen, man.
That's where it's at.
Listen, we are engine over here. I love it. All right. So before we get out of here, I have a quick question for you. Just in a whole, like if there's someone that's listening right now that is about to join or in and thinking about, or someone thinking about joining or someone that just got in, what type of advice would you want to give them?
Do it. Take the jump. It's going to be, in the end, you are going to learn a skill that's going to help others. And it may be your own family one day that you're helping.
That's right.
But you're also going to expand your world. You're going to meet people and do things that that other people would never do. And that the community that you're a part of, and I have friends, I've met people all over, not only the state, friends all over the country that I would have met if I never got involved in this world.
Lifelong friends. I love that. I love it.
Including you now.
There you go. Here we
Right?
go. Now, when I'm over there in Bayshore, I usually go over there by the hospital over there.
Right
301 and 375. I go over there. So all of that. All right.
Always
all right.
welcome.
So thank you so much for coming down, Chief.
No.
That was amazing. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me, Chris.
Thank you. Thank you again. For real. Thank
Anytime,
you so
brother.
much. All right. So thank you. I hope you guys enjoyed that. We just heard from my boy, John Ippi. That's what we said, right?
That's
Is
right.
it Ippi? John
Ippi.
Ippi from the Bayshore Fire Department about his life as a firefighter. I hope you all enjoyed the conversation. Please like, share, subscribe, do all of those things. I am your host, Chris Moses, and please tune in next week to another great conversation in the Firehouse.